Hi, everybody. How you doing? I am Johan. That is Charleston joining us today on the Better With Age webcast. We have, I don't know if I should say a blast from the past. We have two gentlemen joining us today about, Mo is just coming on now too. Our first guest joining us from Kelowna. Used to play with the Calgary Stampeders and Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the 70s, early 80s. Mr. John Helton. John, how you doing?
Doing great, thanks. Very, very well.
And just joining us now, Mo, can you hear me? Latimore.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Mo. How you doing? We can hear you. We are
okay.
On. Yeah.
Good. Then that's okay. You already got a picture of me. You don't need to see me.
Good.
You're already looking at me.
Yeah. Mo, how are things going? I see you got the nice shirt on your picture right there. Kansas City Chiefs fan, I take it?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you have to be after being in Kansas for that long, correct?
Well, yeah, but I know the guy who's the head coach of the Chiefs real well. We coach together.
Mr. Andy Reid.
You bet.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. That's why I'm a big Kansas City fan. I've always been, but I'm bigger now than anytime.
Andy Reid is probably going to go down as one of the greatest offensive coordinators, head coach of all time.
I text him after every game, man, with some stuff and everything. And I told him, I said, you just cease to amaze me about how well you handle those guys and how well you distribute that ball among all that great talent that you have, man, to keep those guys happy. And he said, hey, that's part of the game. You got to do it and everything. And that's the way it should be done. But he's such a great guy, though. I mean, the players, they love him. And he's a great person, got a great sense of humor. I mean, he's just an all-around guy, and easy to get along with and everything. I worked with him for seven years, so I know him in and out and everything.
That whole team is a true testament to speed kills.
Exactly right. You're absolutely right.
Well, Charleston, you know what speed does to an offensive lineman out there on the end.
Why you always got to bring up that part? He's always got to bring up that part of the deal about the offensive lineman.
Hey, Mo,
kicking the offensive lineman's butt.
You were an interior lineman, Mo, and you were an excellent player and man and the whole bit. But you see, when you get out there on the outside, where I started like Charleston, and then for some reason I got moved inside, I was like out in the light and went into the darkness of the interior doom of football.
Let me just tell you one thing. Things happen a lot faster inside there than they do outside. Because you got guys are closer to you. You got so much more you got to deal with and all that kind of stuff. And things are happening a little bit faster in there than it does outside now. I've learned that a long time ago when I was playing, and now that I was coaching. When I was coaching, I saw all that kind of stuff, and players would tell me, say, "Damn, coach, that happened so fast." I said, "Yeah, it's going to happen fast. It's supposed to be there closer to you."
I want to kind of.
But see, Mo, down there in the States, man, you were right on the ball there, so someone ought not be able to get across your face without you putting a lick on. See, here, you take a step, and you still got a step to go, and then boom, and if you're not sliding with it, I mean, look at Charleston. He if they didn't have a back there, he'd be getting 40 sacks a season.
Exactly right. I know.
I like to consider myself a mastery in getting offensive linemen in space. If I get you in space,
That's what you want to do. You want to get him in space, no doubt.
The only bad thing about being at that end spot, though, man, if you watch and Mo, if I watch football intently. I watch it very intently, and I'm very critical. And I think as an end, one of the things you can never do, Mo, as you know from an offensive lineman, is come up inside. And Charlton, you know that. If you get inside, if you get under, man, now with the way the quarterbacks can run, I mean, those two guys yesterday, the guy who couldn't run in these two games was Brady, eh? I mean, he couldn't maneuver in the pocket, but he couldn't get out and put any stress on the defense by perhaps running. But I think the neatest thing is Charleston, I'll watch you guys, man. Mo and I, when we played, we had 32 players, and when you could take a rest, you had to take it because you're on kickoffs, third and ones, everything else. But the neatest thing is, I love to see well-coached players who apply their trade exceptionally well, and that's what I see in a lot of guys. And Charleston, you didn't hurt yourself going to Saskatchewan, man. You kept up your good production, and I'm really proud of you. I think I said that to you long before we talked on this Zoom, but I watch closely, man, and you get it done.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So let's. I want to ask both of you guys about your guys' playing days coming. First, I'll start with John, and then I'll go to Mo. But John, you started. You're from Pennsylvania. You know, you went down and played at ASU. And how was the experience going from, you know, college ball in the States to coming up? Because you had a chance. You were drafted by Buffalo, right?
Yeah.
You had a chance to be able to play in Buffalo, but you chose to come to Canada. And,
sure.
And to play here. How did you adjust back then to you know, playing ball and not having that 1 yard off the ball and all that stuff? And then all of a sudden now you're playing in Canada. How was that adjustment for you back in the day?
You know, I believe this is true for all aspects of life. Some things are much easier when you're younger because you haven't gotten rigid yet. You know, I mean, you haven't gotten used to things being a certain way for a long while. Yeah. And so when I was at Arizona State, I was a running back the first year I went there. And the second year I was a running back, and then our tight end got hurt. And so then I went to tight end. And then from tight end, my senior year, I played tight end 2 years. My senior year, I was up and down lineman, linebacker, defensive lineman. So I never learned to apply anything other than working real hard and always trying to have some speed. And so when I came to Canada, it was kind of like, well, that was the next adjustment I had to make, being the yard off the ball, playing defensive end. And, you know, the hard part about that was I didn't have, one of the biggest reasons I didn't go to Buffalo is because I hadn't had 4 years of playing at one position. So I didn't want to go to Buffalo and get cut. But the unfortunate thing is I could have made the team sitting on the bench because I know that my abilities as an athlete were sufficient and everything else would have come along. But the adjustments were always easy because you never got settled. You never just got saying, hey, this is my spot and this is where I'm going to stay. I was used to kind of, as we called it back in the day, reading on the run. So what was coming, you had to see it fast and react to it. And I never liked anything that was put in cement, because I had a guy one time tell me when we built a house in Winnipeg, I said, tell me something. Can you guarantee this cement not to crack? He said, no. He says, I guarantee it to crack. So, you know, and I always loved that because I thought, you know, life will crack. Life will crack, and you better make sure that, you know, you got some standard in there, some rebar or something that's going to keep you up when it cracks. So my football was always like that. I knew one day it would crack. Fortunately, I think I was able to play throughout my career and make All-Star the first year I started, my last year, and the whole bit. So I don't think my production went down, but maybe I got wise enough to see that I was getting to where I wasn't going to adjust anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, and Mo, let's talk about you coming. You know, you're another guy joining from the States. You played in Kansas State. How was it for you to be able to come from college ball and then come up to Canada?
Well, I'll tell you what, it wasn't too much of a deal because I just wanted to go play football. I didn't have no idea what the field was like, how far was this or that. I'm gonna tell you a quick story here, and I can see why I liked it so much up in Canada and everything. I went to a junior college for 2 years, and the offensive line coach that I had there told me that the officials during the course of a ball game almost flagged me on every snap because they thought that I was offside and everything. And I said, you gotta be kidding. I said, no, and everything. That's how fast, that's how quick I was, and everything, and so when I got up there to Canada and everything, that wasn't a big deal for me, because now those guys are way off the ball there, and I can get to those guys a lot faster and a lot quicker because I got to jump off the ball and all that, and all that kind of stuff, and the whole works. But playing up in Canada there was one of the most enjoyable times of my life, simply because it was a great opportunity for me to play. I didn't know whether or not I was going to play in the States. I was with the Jets for all their preseason games, and I got cut right at the end. And Calgary had my rights as far as a player goes. So I came on up to Canada. And once I got there and got involved in it, I thought it was the greatest game that you could play because of the speed and all the other things that goes on the big long, wide field that they had and everything. And it was an enjoyable time, being that I was so young, dumb, stupid, and all that other stuff go along with it, and the whole works. But I thoroughly enjoyed playing up there.
Charleston, what do you think of these guys and the experiences? Did you get a lot of the same things too, Charleston, when you came up? I mean, you're another guy came up from the States, came up to Canada. What was your first impression?
I mean, I had like the same kind of experience. The crazy thing is even though it's in different decades, I mean, it's the same experience. I came up here not knowing nothing about CFL. I didn't even know CFL football even existed. It was just one of those things like, I worked out. Yeah, man, I worked out for an arena team, not knowing what was going on. And then this guy came up to me after I worked out for an arena team and said, "Hey, you ever thought about going to play football in Canada?" And I was thinking like, "Oh man, y'all don't know nothing about." All I know is because I'm from Michigan, so I'm from the Detroit area, and all we know is Windsor, and everything outside of like Windsor, Toronto is all igloos and polar bears and stuff. So I'm like, I don't know nothing about Canada, nothing about Canada. I don't know if I need to go to this place and go experience it, but I figured it's an opportunity to play football. So I mean, what the hell, really? Just go try it out. Hope for the best, see what happens. I guess
exactly right.
Yeah, it's a stepping stone to get to where I want to be and try to figure it out from there. So it's kind of the same little experience, right?
Nice. Okay, so then John, you get to Canada. You're playing up here. Who stands out in your mind as some of the athletes? Like we had on Mike Pinball Clemens, and we asked him, who is some of the greatest athletes he's played against, and he named off, Doug Flutie, definitely with or against. John, who do you remember from your days in the CFL that really stands out as either you hated playing against them or you loved playing with them?
Well, in my day, Lancaster was probably the premier quarterback. There was a Russ Jackson, and Ronnie came to Saskatchewan from Ottawa because I think Russ Jackson was the deemed quarterback for the Riders at that time. Yeah. Ottawa Rough Riders, yeah. But there were some great players through the league. Warren Moon was up here, and before him, you had Tom Wilkinson. And Tommy wasn't a big, tall, strapping kind of guy, but he was very, very smart. And you had some just great, what I call athletes playing the game. You didn't have the 6'6", 330 pounders, but you had some guys that were 300 pounds, and of course from 250 to 300 pounds. And one of my guys that I'll always have great respect for is a guy, Larry Bird, and also
really,
yeah, Larry. You know what? He wasn't the biggest guy, but boy, he would come to battle, and that was good. And I'm having a bit of a loss of recollection here, but a guard that you had in Saskatchewan, just a great guy. I know his wife was named Sandy, and I can't think of his name.
Well, give me some time to think about that.
But Larry, you got a name right.
Yeah, there you go. But really, really good people. And I'm gonna be talking to you. No, I'm not gonna. I hate to say it, I just can't think of his name. But a great guy in Saskatchewan. Throughout the league, one of the best things was that wherever you went, it was a dog eat dog fight on the field,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you'd always have parties, and
Right.
you'd be invited to team parties. And I remember George, you know, we'd go to a bar after the game and have a few beers, and George would come in and set us up with Molson's, and the way you'd go. And you know, the league was just fun then. I don't know,
Right.
Charles, how it is today, but back then, man, you really had fun. You look forward to going to. We were in Winnipeg playing, and coming back to Calgary. The airport was fogged in. We couldn't land. We went to BC, and BC was having their wind-up party. Haha. But anyways, we got back there to BC, and we went to their wind-up party. So here we are going to BC wind-up party. We might have beaten them to not be in the playoffs and the whole bit, but that was the way the league was then. But you know, the guys got along so well. And I always like to say, Charlton, we had back then what's known as the don't ask, don't tell. So you go in and you talk to the general manager. You say, now, you know, we're paying you more money than anybody. Nobody in the league's making more money than you. Now, I don't want you to tell anybody because that's going to throw things off. So don't tell them when they ask you what you're making. So therein lied that keeping your word when you said you weren't going to do something or whatever. And I think that's what kept Jack in the Box, you might say. But no, we had a great. It was great. It was really fantastic from the standpoint that I really enjoyed the people. I really enjoyed the people. After that, you know, there was lots of things about the game that wasn't so good, but I always enjoyed the people.
Nice.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
so
That's crazy. You mentioned something about that. Don't ask, don't tell. Like the coaches
Right.
said, look, don't talk about how much you make. I think that's so. Would you think that was a good thing compared to how GMs operated with their players and trying to hide what one person is making compared to another person so they don't come back asking for more money?
Oh yeah. Well, imagine though. I mean, what did
Right.
Man Island get sold for? $18 in trinkets.
Right. Exactly.
So when you're a player and you don't know, I mean, you're only ignorant because you don't know. And then when you know you do something, you're stupid. So I'd rather been ignorant because I didn't know than know and be stupid to not ask. You see?
Right.
But you know, when you look through history, and my wife and I watched a good show, and I apologize because I watch things that happen. I don't really care what the title is. So I just know that the guard that I'm telling you about was a very, very phenomenal good guy. And someday I'll ask you to mention his name on the air again. But you know what? I watched Muhammad Ali. I watched Sam Cooke. What's his name? Jim
Brown. I watched that.
Jim Brown.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, you see, they say Sam Cooke got rubbed out because he knew how to be a businessman, and a lot of the what do you call it, singers didn't know about how to save your own records and do this and do that and a whole bit. And you know, once people find out, well, you know, you get a little burr in your back because, hey, man, I thought this was fair and equitable and all that, but fair and equitable is in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah.
And that's what
100%.
life is. Yeah. See,
The movie was called One Night in Miami.
Yeah, One Night in Miami.
One Night in Miami.
I never saw that. So you've seen
it
that?
It just came out recently.
Yeah.
It's a really, really, really good
I gotta
film.
go see it. I gotta see it now.
No, you can watch it. You don't even have to leave home. My wife gets food delivered to the door, man. Sometimes we don't even go outside for 2 days.
So Mo, I want to know about what was your recollection of, you know, some of the athletes that you faced here. Who are some of the greats that stand out in your mind when you played here?
God dang, it's so many guys, and I'll tell you what, I've misplaced those guys' names so much. It's unbelievable.
You gotta remember some of them, man. You in them trenches.
I know one guy I know that I played against when he was playing at Saskatchewan. That was George Wells and everything, and he was a really, really good player on the defensive end and everything. And Jerry Kelly, Killen, I guess that's what his name is. I can't remember the quarterback that we had. Leon McCoy was another great running back that was good and played for Toronto.
Yeah.
And Warren Moon, you know, I remember Warren first coming up there and everything, and the whole works. But as far as lots of guys, I tell you what, the Fazani brothers are the only thing that I remember at Calgary, because there was two brothers playing and everything. Well, I think one of them played linebacker and the other one played something, the offensive line, I think. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Tom Frazani and
Yeah, Tom. Yeah. What was his other brother's name? Yeah.
John and
John.
John and Tom Frazani. There you go.
Right, exactly. You know, and then all those guys was great guys and everything. I played right along beside the old offensive lineman at Calgary, John. I can't remember his name right offhand. That as soon as he got off the field, first game I played there, first thing he did was light up a cigarette and right in front of his locker. And I said, "What?
Hey,
You gotta be kidding!" You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
No. Here's the deal. Mo, you're right on. Jerry Keeling, Larry Robinson, and
right. Larry Robinson, that's true.
And they lit up some smokes in the lock. I'm saying, what?
Yeah.
But they did. Hey, Mo, not to interfere with our interview.
Go ahead. You can help me.
I remember in Calgary, we had this coach named Jim Duncan.
Yeah.
And Jim Duncan had played with the New York Giants. And Jim was a caustic kind of man, very caustic. Now, Rudy Linterman, Rudy was the coolest guy I knew because Rudy talked back to the coaches. I never imagined that you had the audacity to talk.
That's the truth, man. And I remember that. Yeah.
They do that down there, Mo?
No, I'm just saying with Rudy. Yeah, he was that kind of a guy.
Oh yeah. Well, Rudy didn't take any flack. So anyway, scenarios. We had a guy.
They wasn't gonna get rid of him because he's such a good player.
He was phenomenal. Yeah.
Plus he was Canadian too, and all that. No.
Right. But here I'll tell you a quick story about Rudy. So Rudy was in Toronto, and Rudy kicked off, and Toronto only beat us like 48-7 that game, because we had because 3 days later, you
said only.
Yeah, they only beat us 48-7. but 3 days earlier, 3 days earlier, we were in Montreal. They beat us like 37-3. So now we get to Toronto and they beat us 48-7. And in the locker room, Dick Monroe comes up and says, Rudy, look at you, Rudy. Shut up, Jim. Or this was Dick. Shut up, Dick. Rudy, and he kept going up one side and down, Rudy, and bang, down he went.
He kidding me. I didn't know that.
Rudy did it. But this same Dick Monroe, God rest his soul. Monroe, we were in Saskatchewan. What was 1970 when it was 40 below zero?
Right.
Did you ever notice that it got that cold in Saskatchewan, Charleston?
Cold like that right now.
And like that right
but here's the deal. We go out, the field is frozen, freezing cold, and you got some gloves on. And Dick Monroe comes up and says, man, you got to take them gloves off. You aren't going to be able to feel nothing out there. Well, I thought to myself, what? You mean you want us to go out there and go to work with our hands in the dirt, frozen dirt, and play a game? Right. Well, he's on the sideline looking like he was in a muckluck outfit. And this joke, fellas, we did go on to the Grey Cup that year, but it was so cold and everybody's hands had been so frostbitten that, I mean, literally at one time my hands were strong enough that I could hold on to whatever it was. But after that, you never did quite have the strength in your hands that you had because they had been frozen so badly and had large grapes that had to be cut and all the fluids drained out and the whole bit. But that was a time when, and I really once again say that was ignorant, because if that guy really knew what he was causing to occur with his players, well, that'd been really bad if he knew it and didn't care.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's life.
So what do you guys think now of the CFL and how is it going in its directions? And do you guys still follow the game? I know that we were talking.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Mo, do you still follow the CFL?
Yeah, I still follow the game. I was disappointed that they didn't play this year, but I can understand that situation. Yeah, I watch most of the games whenever I can, whenever one comes on, because they start so early, and the NFL hadn't started yet, and college haven't started yet. So, yeah, I watched. And then during the season, when the college teams were playing, sometimes I turn off the college team, watch the CFL. The players are so much more skilled guys now. I mean, they're so much faster than what they were when we was playing. That's down here too, but that's one thing that I noticed and that I've seen over the years. The type of athlete that they're getting up there now in that league are unbelievable. I mean, geez, to cover all that space and to cover all that ground, you have to have guys that can run and everything. And one guy that we had here at K-State, and I coached him. He was here playing for us. That plays for the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now. Little bitty guy.
Brandon Banks?
Yeah. Huh?
Brandon Banks?
Brandon Banks. Yep. He played here. I coached him here at K-State. And I'll tell you what, he was one of the most fastest guys that I've ever been around. Tyreek Hill, he reminds me of all that guy.
Yep.
And he's working all kind of records up there in Canada, and punt return, kickoff. They got to a point where they wouldn't even kick it to him for a while there. But they found a way to make sure that he got his hands on the ball and everything. But all those type of guys, all those type of athletes that they're getting up there now, it's a fast paced situation than it was when we was playing. Although I didn't pay that too much attention, because I was just trying to survive up there and do my very best that I could do.
So, John, what do you think now of the CFL? And we were talking earlier, I want to bring this up, Charleston. What was the question we're going to ask John about his wise advice for free agency?
Said he got some wise advice for these young guys approaching free agency. You never know what's going to come up. Free agency starts, like the players can start negotiating because a new rule got implemented to the CFL now, just like the NFL, where you have a window before free agency to discuss contracts with other teams. And that window is next week, Sunday. So
wow.
It's going to be some pivotal advice for these young guys coming out.
I wish the heck I knew about that.
Hey Mo. That was we played in the old days, man. We had lights that you had to have a cord on, like a string that you could turn them out.
Exactly.
But you know what? Roger Aldag.
Oh, you were talking about Roger Aldag and his wife Sandy.
Aldag.
That's who you're thinking about. That, yeah, he's a beast, and he was.
You know what, Roger? I would say to you, if Roger ever held, he'd have gone and told the official, "Hey, I was holding on that play." Roger is an honorable. Roger is one of the most honorable men I've ever known in my life. I have nothing but.
He would tell the official that he held the guy.
No. But
that type of guy.
I'll tell you what. If he had held you, he would have told him.
Oh, okay.
I can say this, Roger. I don't ever remember being held by Roger. He was tough enough. He didn't need to grab one. But no, Charleston, and I think you would agree, Mo. One of the things that you do in life is you learn. You can't stay stagnant. You're learning either by what you do or what others you see do, or just what comes in on the air, you might say. But the thing I like to think about today is when I talk to my sons and young men who care to hear, I don't think I have anything that's a gospel other than what I've learned in life. And the most important thing I think players can do is know their value. And how do you know your value? Well, I don't think your value is comparable. I think it's your value. And if someone's making less money, or more money, I think there's somewhere in there where a person has to know what's going on. In the States, you can pay guys $500 million for 10 years. Up here, I don't know. Maybe quarterbacks are making close to $1 million a year, but I think Doug Flutie was making close to $1 million back in the 80s with Calgary. But the important thing is, if you just had a fair assessment of what people were making, a person can judge their own abilities and the team that they're surrounded with, and go from there. But I would never, ever, ever advise anyone without knowing exactly what the circumstances were going to be vis-a-vis doing or don't do.
Right.
Just know, don't put yourself in a position where now you only have one way out, and that way you got to run through what, that razor wire, barbed wire, and everything. Don't put yourself in those kinds of positions, whether it be in your everyday life or in sport or what. So I think the young fellas need to know what's going on. I mean,
Right.
in football on defense, Charlton, good and well, if someone just comes up and brush blocks you, it's going to be a screen. It should be like instantly shocked to know that, hey, that's a screen. I got to react to that. Now, there might be your weak side designated if the screen's coming to your side, but somebody else has got to rush the quarterback. But the rest of it got to be on their way to stopping the screen. Lots of things like that. So I think the more that people know, the better decisions you can make. And if you don't know, you're ignorant. Like I look at ignorance as being not knowing. I think ignorance is what's wrong with a lot of the world. It just doesn't know. And then you've got someone that can come and apply ignorance to ignorance, and now you've got a terrible situation going. But in sports, especially when it's so short, there's nothing I don't think is worthwhile learning the hard way.
Oh, I think we
got a little malfunction going on.
Right. It's back now.
He just froze up right now. Let's see if he gets us if he gets back with us, and to do that, to see if
so Mo, you got anything special you could tell these guys? All these young guys out there ready to hit free agency. I know you got the coaching experience and the playing experience. So now combined with all that knowledge that you have, and you've played with some of the best players, coached with some of the best. Now, how do you combine those two?
Did I jump off?
Yeah, we lost you.
I don't know what happened to me. I'm good. I'm here.
Well,
hey, fellas, real short and succinct. Just a man needs to know what he's doing. You got to know what you're doing, and I don't think that in life and in the world there's there's a prey and there's a preyed upon, and so you got to know which one you are, and some guys are willows and some guys are oaks, and you got to be who you are in life, and you got to be strong enough to say, hey, I feel like I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that. You got the right to do that. You have the right to say, hey, I'm not going to do that. So then a good thing happens. A man goes on to become all he can be, or you stay in a situation that you'll one day regret. That's what maybe being 50 years older than Charleston can tell you.
All right, Mo, we'll let you we'll let you say your words of wisdom here too.
Well, I'll tell you, back in the day, I didn't have a whole bunch of help with my contract and everything. So like one of those good old boys, I was so happy to be up there and being a part of an organization playing football that I didn't have anyone guide me to the point where what I'm worth, in a sense. So I was one of those kind of guys that went in and talked to the guys and got what I could out of them and moved on, and other than that, that was it. I mean, it was a cut and dry situation for me, to be honest with you, because I had an agent that didn't do a whole lot and everything, and the whole work. So I dumped him, and I'd start into my last part of my years going in and doing it myself and everything, and the whole company. But yeah, take them. I mean, get what you can get, and be honest about it, and be firm about it, and everything, and the whole work, and just do a good job. They'll pay you. You do a good job, and what you think, or else someone else will. The way I look at it and everything. So
there you go.
That's the way you do it.
There you go.
Right now, that's what they're doing. They're paying guys what they're worth. If you're not worth anything to them, and they got another guy can do the same thing that you're doing, then that's what's going to happen. I mean, they're going to go get that guy. Yeah. Screw you. I mean, Just the way it is. But the most important thing, enjoy what you're doing. And like I tell people over and over again, I've always wanted to coach. And when I got done playing up there, I went and started coaching. And I can honestly say that is the best thing that I could have done, because that is what I wanted to do. I did what I wanted to do with my life up to this point, and everything. And that's what you got to look at. You got to do what's best for you and your family and move on.
And you had a unbelievable coaching career over at Casey.
Right.
So
Right.
congrats on that. And
Right.
thank you very much for joining, John. I wanted to say
You
that
bet.
I love your Riders gear that you're wearing. I know you probably wore that just for the show. Thanks.
Just for the
Who
show.
gave you that jacket?
Carm Carteri.
The great Carm Carteri, of course, was able
You
to.
see Carm tell him that I said, hey, and one of the wonderful things about our league, like I'm sure it is in the NFL, is when the guys get together, boy, you can let some zingers fly.
No doubt.
and they don't even have glue to stick.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think things have changed, right, Charleston? We'll let guys, we wanted to thank you very much for coming on the show and talking a little bit about us, about your days and about what you think about the CFL. It really has been an honor to have you guys on. Normally we get Charleston's gonna leave you some wise words to finish off, because I know, John, you got a bolt here right away and you got to take off. So Charleston, do you have anything else you want to ask the boys, or anything else you wanted to add?
Oh, I think that was awesome, man. Thanks for coming on the show, fellas. That was an awesome experience, especially for all of the viewers that we have, all the fans that we have that watch the show, all the players that we have watched the show. You know,
Okay.
y'all gave them some great advice that they can, take and move on into the rest of their lives and their football careers, knowing that, you know what, either you're the hammer or the nail.
That's right.
It's how I view it.
One way or another, you are.
Yeah, one way or another. You got to be
That's right.
one or the other. You just got to be able to choose which one you want to be.
There you go.
I like to be the driver. So, hey, man, make sure when you're talking to your guys, and I look at life, let's just say it this way. I didn't make all the money in the world, but we were fortunate enough that we could work and do something on the side, and we were able to save football pretty well. And the most important thing the guys can do is play well enough to stay healthy when you're out and save your money until you have something really good to do with it. And that's
right.
I don't know that you could do better by don't play for 14 years like I did. You don't have to. I found years financially for the years after football, because I was a grown-up man then, and I knew. And so I think that don't worry about when you're done with football. Just have a plan that you can work to go forward, because you'll be surprised with what you have as a human entity, what that can be worth in the world out there when you apply yourself the same as you did in football.
Right.
I think that if there's any fear, there is no fear, because you'll adjust as you always have. So you'll be sorry, fellas, you'll be great.
All right.
Goodbye, me.
And then one thing we didn't even get a chance to touch base on, and maybe that you guys can talk to Charleston about. I know that there's been some talk about this, about how you guys are dealing with the CFL and the pension. And
Right.
are you guys getting a lot of support in that regard?
Well, I that's one thing that I called John about and everything, and I've gotten some feedback from a couple of guys. I'm missing one thing here that I need to try to get, in that social insurance number. I don't know what the heck that is, and the whole work. I don't recall having anything to do with that type of deal, because I use my own state social security number, and I don't know where that's located. I have no idea. So I got the office, Casey, who is at Hamilton Tiger Cats, in their business office. She's checking into some couple of things that I might be able to retrieve that number.
Yeah.
But that's my only deal right now that I'm looking for, and I can go forward, be able to go forth and retrieve that that money and everything, and
Pension.
and that pension, right?
Yeah.
If I can just get that part done, I think I'll be okay. But right now they're holding it because I gotta get that number to them.
Yeah. Okay. And then Charleston, maybe, or John, do you have any advice for the guys in the pension? Are you in touch with those guys in regards to that, or no, not yet?
No, I've been in the insurance business for 51 years, and I took my money out of the CFL's pension a number of years ago. I really don't know how it's gone. I'm sure that it's been.
Why in the hell you didn't call and tell me, goddamn it? Excuse my expression.
Well, you see, Mo, here's the bad thing, buddy. I don't. I try to make sure that.
No, I was just kidding. You know, I was just kidding with you.
My circumstances were a little bit different, but it
Oh,
all
I
goes.
know.
Charlton,
I know.
at this early time in your life, buddy, by the time you get to my age, you honestly,
I'm at your age. You only 2 years. You only 2 years older than I am. What the heck are you talking about?
hey, Mo, I'm an old, but you're a young old.
No. Thanks a lot, John.
Hey,
You're such a great guy. I tell you what, I love you, man.
Hey, Mo, I'll always say my early years were my best years, and they got better ever since. However, you might want to hear that. And the neat thing is, fellas, I think that my mentality is I don't want anybody to fall into the holes that I've fallen into in life. And when I tell somebody something, I'm not telling them what to do. I've got grown sons. I've got a grown daughter. I don't tell them what to do. I just say, hey, I'm going to tell you what. I had a similar circumstance at one time, and here's what happened. Just like I told you about the situation and me trading myself to Winnipeg and then talking too much and not listening enough. And I was now in a position where I had to keep my word, and it wasn't maybe the best thing for my family. But I think, fellas, the most important thing we can do is keep our heads up and see what's going on around us all the time and make good decisions. And Charlton, I know, man, you're still playing and you've got some great years to come. I just trust the CFL to be able to keep things going.
I thought you was another retired guy.
Oh, no. I'm not retired. No.
Oh, you still play? How many years you been playing?
13.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Charlton, man. Charlton. You look like a kid.
I'm still rocking, man.
Still rocking, man. You
look like man. Got to keep all them gray hairs out the beard. All that stuff.
You look like a young guy. I see. That's what I thought. I thought you was a young guy, man.
Oh no, I'm old, man. 37.
Oh wow, that's young. Let me tell you.
I'm older than all my coaches.
Yeah, that's right. You are.
Hey, Charlton, you got enough wisdom, man, and you've seen a lot in life and the whole bit. If coaching is something you'd love to do, I think it would be fantastic, because what we need to do as grown men, I'll say, is help young to
exactly.
We don't need to watch guys falling in ditches that maybe we fell into, and we don't need to watch people hurt themselves. And, I always felt good about football because I had young guys that played behind me, some in my position. And if they beat me out, hey, you're welcome to it. But I knew I was able to play, and I did play, but it wasn't like I played with fear that someone's going to beat me out. So I always felt like, hey, if I can help somebody, and that's the most important thing, that even animals help themselves. Why can't we people help each other? So
exactly.
You got a lot to offer the world, man. I just wish you great luck, and I'm really glad we had this opportunity today, because I've always admired the play, and I see you as a man today, and I'm grateful for this, and I thank you for it.
You bet.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I echo those sentiments.
There you go. All right, boys. We'll let Charleston usually gives his last words. I'll let him. Words of wisdom for the last bit of the show here.
Okay, fellas, this is the Better with Age podcast. The reason we call this the Better with Age podcast, because there's many things that get better with age. Not just you two great gentlemen right here that get better with age, get more wiser. But there's leather, there's whiskey, there's wine, cigars. There's multiple things that get better with age. But the most important thing of them all is friendships. I'm glad to have a chance to meet you guys. I'm glad to know that guys are still friends. Make sure you guys keep in contact with each other. I know that, John, you reached out to me back in September 2nd, 2013, and somehow I ended up missing the message, but I made sure that I still got back to it and still reached back out to you to make sure that I did receive your message and I had a chance to really reach back out to you and let you know that I appreciate you for sending me that message. So thank you.
You bet.
Charles, it's a pleasure,
Yeah.
man.
You bet.
Good
Same
luck
here,
to all you
Charles.
guys.
Take care, man.
Thank you
Okay.
guys.
Take
All
care,
the
John.
best to you and your family, and
bet.
great talking to you. Take
You
care.
bet. Same here,
All
bud.
the best.
All right, John, we'll see you guys.
Hey, yeah, Mo, take it easy, buddy. We'll be in
All
touch,
right.
bud.